Timmy. First one in, brother. You never disappoint. It's like you have a sixth sense of knowing when I'm going to be live. Move that one over. Put this one right here. I was just kind of bored today. Shot a video earlier. Don't want to edit. Notifications. Yeah, I broke out Donnie, my T-style guitar, and hadn't had it down in quite a while. So I thought I'd break it out and knock the dust off of it a little bit. Pick around on it. It's a cool guitar, man. I like this guitar. I never was really into T-style guitars and stuff, but this one, first time I ever played it, that neck is just thin as paper. I mean, it's just unreal. But it plays really good, though. I like it. Yeah, Donnie's got a good tone. Oh, dude, come get it already. On Wednesday. That's a slick looking guitar, man. I gotta tell you. I was watching John's channel earlier. He put up some project guitars he was working on. He had 3 of them, and one of them was that Lorian kit, and then he had a Telly with a Bigsby on it, and then he had another one besides that. And that Lorian that he's got, he ended up putting the Safu Invader clones in it, and I was like, I told him before he done that, I was like, dude, I want to tell you, if you're looking for humbuckers to put in there, that's, yeah, the Acklot was sick. But I told him, I said, if you're looking for good humbuckers that are in there that will not break the bank, I'm telling you, those Invader clones are where it's at. You can get a set for under 20 bucks, and they sound exactly like Seymour Duncan Invader clones. And he was I think he was kind of skeptical about it first, but then he jumped on it. And when he jumped on it, it was like, I get it now. And today he thanked me in that video for suggesting those. If I've got a budget guitar that I'm going to put pickups in, and I'm going with budget pickups, normally it's the Invader clones. I love those things. I'm basically looking for inspiration today. I've got a tone that I've built that this guitar sounds great on. It's high gain. There it is. Well, why did that happen? Yeah, I'm charging. That's crazy. Screensaver came on. This is probably the hottest passive pickup that I have in this studio. 18K on this one. And I think that Draco, the EC50 LTD up there's got one that's 16K, but this one's 18. And I don't think I have another guitar in here that's got pickups as hot as this. And they're just branded Spear pickups. I don't get it. But that humbucker it's amazing. I love that humbucker. But now the Firefly's got the hottest active pickups. So let's see. Let's get some people in here. Let's see. Copy. Copy. I'll just put this right down here. I don't know if you're where you can join in or anything, but if you want to join in, feel welcome to do so. But yeah, all I had to do was wipe this thing down. And got it off the wall and wiped it down a little bit. And it's getting pretty nasty. Oh, I didn't know Brandy was having a stream. That's nuts. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have went live. I was just bored. Just procrastinating. Today's word is procrastinating. Definition of that word is I do not like editing. And I'm far enough ahead, I think, to where I can wait a day or two before I have to do any editing. Brant's come in and gone. I do want to hang, but I have stuff to do today. Yeah, I did too, but I got it all done. Get you down the road. Thanks for dropping in, Brant. Here you go. This is for Brant. Yeah, I feel you. I think we're going to go the easy route and just have pizza tonight. Pizza and steak fries. That's what we're going to have. Yeah, I know that he said something about that Thursday night, and I don't know if my son's going to be here at that time or not. He usually comes over on the weekends, usually shows up about 5 o'clock or so. I'm going to have to get him in on one or two videos or a live stream or something. He starred on a video that, oh, steak fries or hamburgers. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you what, I've been waiting. I've been going to the grocery store and waiting every now and then at our local grocery store, our food line. They'll run Detroit style ribs on sale, and I'll get probably 3 or 4 racks of ribs, and I smoke them. I've got a pellet smoker, and I'll smoke them for 6 hours. And I've got this stuff that I use on it called butt rub, and my neighbor, this man and woman live right up the road from us. They're like the coolest people in the world. I just love them to death. Hey, Jack, what's going on? But she ended up, she had cancer. She had breast cancer. She ended up losing one of her breasts, and she had to have surgery and everything. So while she was down, we cooked for them. For every day, we would take them plates of food and stuff. And because she wasn't really able, she was just too sore and everything. So we made up a big dinner. I got a bunch of racks of ribs, and how I do my ribs is I cover them in mustard. And once I cover them in mustard, I go over them with it's called butt rub. It's got a pig showing its butt on the front of it. So I cover it in that, and that's a local company here to Tennessee that has that rub. And then on top of that, I'll put like a Montreal steak seasoning in with that rub. And so then it goes on for 3 hours, and then I take them off and I wrap them in aluminum foil, and then I put a little bit of brown sugar and butter in there, then rewrap them, put them back in for 2 hours. The whole time they're cooking at like 200 to 225. And then for 2 hours, I take them back out, and then I open the tops on all of them and put them back in for another hour. Well, when they're done, you can literally take the bone and shake it, and the meat just slides right off of it. And my neighbor, hey, Chris is here. So she had that surgery done, and she, had one of her breasts taken off due to that cancer. And so we made her and her husband some plates. Her husband's disabled, and he's pretty bad shape. We took them up there, and I told my wife when I got back, I said, we'll be getting a phone call about this one. She said, you think? And about an hour later, she called back down there, and she says, Casey, I just got to know how you do your ribs. They were so tender and so good. I said, well, Miss Barbara, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. So And then she was bragging on my wife because my wife makes the best pot of pinto beans you've ever had in your life. And of course, everything she makes is awesome, but she's been doing that for a long time. They're really good. No, I'm not taking after Ubi. I was bored. I'm procrastinating. I shot a video today and I do not want to edit. I'm lazy. I've looked around. I've got guitars with dust on it. I had to clean off my dadgum bench again. So, yep, ruined that for you. I was going to ask. I know you was. That's why I said it. Sure thing, Jack. Man, you hang out as long as I'm here. You're more than welcome. More than welcome indeed. All I'm doing is, like I said, I'm procrastinating. I got my spear telly off the wall and I shined it up. I have not had this one down in a while. Shined it up and was picking around on it a little bit. That guitar weighs a ton. That's an awesome guitar. I love that thing. It's just bad to the bone. But yeah, you're more than welcome to hang out with us. We do not care a bit. Brant stopped in just a few minutes ago. I got the video for the Soldano mini amp put up. That thing is impressive. I'm playing my Epiphone Les Paul Standard with a 57 class. Ooh. Oh, that sounds nice. I had one, of course, it was a Gibson Les Paul Studio. I bet that I could probably find a picture of that if I do not know. I may not have it on here. I know I do on my phone. But it was a Gibson Les Paul Studio, and it had it was butterscotch color as a 1986 and was made in Nashville, Tennessee in February 16th of 1986. No, I don't have it. Crap. I'll have to move that over. Nice guitar. Hey, Sparky's here. Uh-oh. Did you like how I talked my wife in the 25 to get married and 27 my B-day so I don't forget? She forgot today. Oh, man, that's a hall pass right there. That is a hall pass. That's a whole day of getting away with whatever you want to get away with. Let's see, that's not on that one either. Yeah, mine did that once. No, Chris's birthday is Monday. I'm gonna be 29-year-old. That's how old I was on the 20th, just a few days ago. I turned 29 up here. Down here I'm around 80 something, but I'm 29 up here. And Timmy's 29 too. His is tomorrow. In case I don't get to call you or something, Timmy, I'll try. But in case I don't, happy birthday. And your son's is today. Well, happy birthday to your son. And welcome to the stream. Mars Arnold. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. But welcome in. Guitar talk, all that good stuff. That's what we do around here. Oh, I did get it right. Woo! I'm terrible. I butcher names all the time. I'm not as bad as my wife, though. She called Sparky Spooky for a long time. I have been wearing out the Chris. I'm just going to say it now, brother. You got that hall pass for today? You might want to order this right here. $399. That's a small price, you know, for her to pay, you know. And a lot of women would go ahead and let you, you know, get that instead of having to apologize. But I've been wearing this thing out. I am going to take the back plate off of this at some point. I'm thinking in the next few days, and check out the internals, because I think I need a treble bleed. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to make a treble bleed for it, and I'm going to change out that capacitor on the tone for something that is just a little bit not as dark. Hey, that's okay, brother. You just come on back when you're done. Okay, now I lose it all right around 7. I mean, it's just gone. You can barely hear it. Yeah. Bought another Telecaster neck today and a Duncan hot rail for a single coil plus my yellow T Strat. Ooh, that's a good birthday right there. But yeah, she still laughs about that. She said, "Oh, we was watching one of your videos the other day, and she was in the kitchen, I think, and I was in the living room, and I had you up. I watch YouTube on my big TV, and had you up on there, and you was working on a neck, and she come in, she says, 'Who is this?' And I said, I looked at her, and she goes, 'Is that Spooky?' I said, 'That's Sparky.' Cheeto, what's up, brother? Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you stopping in and hitting that like button. But yeah, I'm gonna wind up taking this the back plate off, and I'm gonna try maybe. I'm going to inspect, because if this is one of those 250K or dime size pots, that's going to come out. I mean, even if it's a dime size 500K, I'm going to probably end up taking it out. It does feel good, but I'm going to try and put a treble bleed on that so I can keep my volume, below 7. Below 7, it's terrible. And the tone knob, well, the coil split, actually, this thing gets really dark. That's mud to me. So I'm going to take that out, probably end up putting a 22 in there so it can get down to about where I like it to be if I have to dial it back ever, which is rare unless I'm playing clean tones. Yeah, that's what I do with Sweetwater. I go to Sweetwater. My Sweetwater rep, Paul. That dude is amazing. He's great. There's two types of salesmen in the world, and I'll tell you what kind of salesman that is. Number one is a salesman that's out for that money. And number two is a salesman that's out for you to come back, not to get all of your money and as much as possible. And Paul is the number two style salesman at Sweetwater. He never tries to upsell me on anything unless he absolutely thinks that I need it. He'll ask me questions to see if I need it, which I do appreciate that. But he never says, oh, well, if you bought this Soldano amp, you'll want to get a Bogner too, and just trying, because that's a salesman that's out for just getting as much money as possible as soon as possible. And Paul is a salesman that believes that if you create a relationship with a customer and you talk to your customer and you find out their needs, then that customer is just going to keep coming back. And he got me with that. Just great customer service with him. And so on my birthday, I called him up and I told him, I said, hey man, I said, I've had my Sweetwater card paid off for a little bit. I usually do about like you do, Chris. I'll get, a bunch of stuff, pay it off in 6 months, and then I may go another 3 or 4 or 5 months before I buy something else. Well, anyway, I called him up and I said, well, my birthday is coming up. I said, it's on the 20th. And he says, 420, that explains a lot. No, I'm just kidding. But he says, oh man, he says, so what are you looking at getting? And I was looking at this guitar, but I didn't really plan on getting this guitar. I just wanted this Soldano SLO30 Mini, and I wanted something else, and I needed strings and picks. It wasn't nothing, huge that I was wanting. I was looking at the 5150 PV Iconic, because they had those, the tube head, for $8.99. And I thought, man, that would look good sitting right on top of that carving over there. But I backed out. I was like, well, I'm going to try these Soldano ones, because this is sort of a budget channel, and I, budget gear and stuff. And I thought, well, I can get a couple of videos out of that. So ended up going with that. And then finally I asked him about this LTD, and he was like, oh, okay, well, he got to talking about it, and he says, are you a fan? And I was like, dude, I got like 3 LTDs right now, and I love them all. I said, I've just never owned a Strat style LTD guitar. They've all been LP styles or basses. And he goes, oh yeah, well, and then he got to talking about it, just basically telling me the specs. And he got to the pickups, and he was like, I will tell you this, if you like ESP pickups, you are going to love these pickups. And he told me, he said the bridge is cranking about 12.7, 12.8K, somewhere around in there. And then, of course, the neck was somewhere around 9 to 10K, depending on the electronics that has to travel through, because they measure different out of the guitar than they do when they're in the guitar. And he says, "You're going to love these." And I said, "I think that I might go with that." I said, I want that guitar, and I think I might go with it. And then I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Ooh, that's pretty. Are you going to get that?" You know, so I was like, "Okay, I've got it." But it come down getting to the point of the story, uh, getting to the point of the story when you was talking about getting it and paying it off in 6 months. I always ask, hey, what does this put me at on monthly payments? Because I pay, no matter how much it is, I pay a certain amount over that so I can pay it off early. And he rung everything up, and it was like $1,010, tax and all. And I was like, what's that going to run me a month? He's like, oh, you're looking at $30. I was like, are you kidding me? And he goes, well, is that too much? I can do some adjusting. I was like, no, dude, forget that. I'll just go ahead and I'll have this paid off in no time. I said, you know me, I always make big payments. And so, yeah, I do that very same thing. Mine calls asking about the channel and asking if I need anything. Just yell. But yeah, guys, I'm just procrastinating. That's all I'm doing. Uh, that is all I'm doing, is just procrastinating. Uh, Actually, just I don't want to edit. Today's kind of a lazy day. This is the first day I've had in a long time to where I have just been able to sit and not have to worry about nothing much except for around here at home. Not had to go nowhere or do anything. So yeah, I'm just kind of procrastinating. I figure I'll just edit at some other time. And Thursday's live stream was, yes, that is true. That is true, Mars. Procrastinators live longer. I don't get to do enough of it, I can tell you that. But shot a video with a pedal today. I guess I could show you guys that. I usually give spoilers with every video on videos, or on every live on videos that are coming up. I have 16 cars. I have yet to buy one with P90s in it. I'm looking for one with P90s. I like P90s. Especially in like the, what is it, the Fender Mustang, and some of the older Les Pauls. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, the other day I showed you guys the Soldano mini amp right here that I picked up for $249. Absolute Jazzmasters. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I've never owned a Jazzmaster. I've played them, you know, pawn shops, guitar stores and stuff, but I've never owned one. I have 16 guitars. I'm looking for one with P90s in it. What would you recommend? I would say the Jazzmaster if you're a Fender guy, but basically Les Pauls. You can get actually a good budget guitar and put P90s in it if you get a good set of P90s. Dude, that thing is an absolute monster. It's a 1983 Carvin X100B, all tube, 100 watt. That thing is, it'll make your ears bleed. Well, I tell you, it doesn't, I have it turned up to 1, if that tells you anything. It doesn't go past that in here. And on 1, I've maxed on 1 that decibel meter back there at 114 decibels. On 1. Now, then that was the clean channel with some overdrive running through it. You take 250 for it, not the Carvin, no way. I found that thing at a yard sale. I've got about 250 in it, but no, it's not, it ain't going nowhere. That's some of the best clean tones I've ever heard. And man, it takes pedals well. And I'll tell you this, do you see that? That was one of the other things that I got from Sweetwater. That thing right there, I wanted to hate it too. But not the Carvin, the Mini. Well, for $250, you can go right to Sweetwater and get one. I will tell you this. You will be very, very satisfied with it. I mean, dude, you can get the gain alone with that. And I did with this Soldano Super Lead overdrive. I put this through that Carvin Mars. And when I put it through that Carvin on the clean side, I don't know why this is, but on the clean side, this pedal sounded better as a distortion than it did on the dirty side of that Carvin. If you're not familiar with Carvin, Carvin's not really a high gain amp. It's, you can go on the dirty side and you can flip the lead switch from rhythm to lead, and then you can pull one knob on there for the gain and then the other for volume, and that's supposed to put it up to high gain, or what they called high gain in 1983. To me, it's not. But I put this in front of it and it sounded okay. It wasn't too bad, but I went back to the clean channel and put this through the clean channel, and man, perfect overdrive. I wanted to hate this thing too for the money, but I'm telling you, it's a dandy of a pedal. You just trying hard, ain't you? Look, I love you, brother. I do. You know, and I know it's your birthday and all, but I can't afford that. So, I am doing a giveaway with some pedals. Might get lucky and win one of them. I think I've got 5 so far picked out, and probably more to come. I know you're just joking. Oh, Sparky's leaving. Going to get out of here for a few days. Going to take a break. What are we supposed to do if your channel's not uploading videos? That's okay. I'll go back and watch older videos. Just rig it so I'll win. Well, I'd do that, but I'm afraid Timmy would make a trip to Tennessee and I'd be in for it. But, of course, you guys know the Flamma drum machine is going to be on there. Cool little pedal. That's the most expensive one. And then I'm going to throw the Cool Music Reverberry in there. It's got a bunch of different reverbs and delays. There's a chorus on here. Cool little pedal. Let's see here. And I've got this chorus pedal right here. It's a cool little analog chorus. And I've got the reverb pedal, little mini pedal here. Now this reverb does the room, spring, and shimmer. That's a good little reverb pedal. And then, of course, I've got this distortion pedal by Cool Music that has the 6 different distortions on it. I really didn't want to get rid of this one, but that Soldano replaced it. The Soldano is bad to the bone. I have been jamming on that thing all morning. I run it through the Carvin. I've run it through the Soldano, and surprisingly, it sounds great through that Soldano. A Soldano amp and a Soldano overdrive. It sounds awesome, and that little amp don't even need that. You can hit the overdrive on the amp face and then just crank the gain up. It doesn't need a pedal in front of it to push it. Yeah, see, there you go. I want the Flamma. Chris can win everything else. I went to Six String Stinger's channel. I don't want to do the wheel thing. I don't think it's really fair for people to have to put in the time for something like these. You know, these ain't a whole lot, but put in the time to go and fill out a form and everything to get your name put up on the wheel, you know, and all that stuff. So I didn't really think that that was fair to do it that way over pedals that are, you know, that one pedal was, I think it was like $80, probably about almost 90 after taxes, that Flamma pedal. And I just didn't want to do that for that. So I went to Six String Stinger's channel and I left him a comment asking what he uses. A comment picker that runs off hashtags, and I asked him which one it was that he used, because I know he done a video where he told what that was, but I can't find that video. So I'm going to use something like that where you can enter the URL to the video and then enter the keyword, and then it pulls everybody from the comments that are subscribers, and it just goes through and just picks a name, you know. And I think I'm going to do it that way. Just do a video saying, hey guys, going to give this stuff away. And I'm still finding stuff, so this is probably not going to be all of it. I'm not sure. And the chorus and reverb pedal may go together. I may give those together. But I'm still finding stuff that I'm thinking about putting in there and everything. So, yeah, I do too. You know, and I'll tell you what it was. The reason why I don't use the Cool Music anymore or that Ocean Verb. I put my Veilton GP50 on my analog board, and I have rigs built within that are just for effects only, and I can run them through the effects loop, and there is like 30 different reverbs that you can adjust every one of them, choruses, all that stuff. So that's the reason why those pedals are gone, and I've put that on that board. Yeah, and I agree with that, Chris. And that was a good song, but yeah. That's how I won the Firefly body from Brian. What? By telling him that not to let anybody else have it and that you wanted it? I'm just kidding. And that's true, Mars. Sometimes too many options are bad. Well, on the GP50, I'm not like, I have the Headrush Flex Prime. it does everything that I need it to do. That modeler is just the bomb. That's my go-to for everything. Usually, if you see a video of me using something different from that, it's to do a review of that. And so, but as far as playing all together, I go through that more than I do anything. The GP50, when I got that, my intentions were to do reviews on it, to talk about it, you know, how good it is, how bad it is, whatever. And it surprised me, actually. It was a really cool pedal. The only thing I had a problem with was the NAM files and stuff like that, how hard they don't make that easy. Like on the Spark 40, you can go into something and just type, hey, I want my guitar to sound like Steve Vai's guitar on For the Love of God. And poof, AI is thinking and then pops up a rig, and then you touch on that and you make minuscule adjustments and you got that tone. That one is a whole lot harder just to get IRs and NAM files. And so I thought, well, you know, it's a good pedal. I mean, I use it as a standalone through my Fender Ultimate Chorus amp 212, and I use it on this board for modulation and time-based effects and reverb. So it does good, and it's got a great EQ on it too, and I use that EQ to EQ a bunch of stuff out. I banned myself from entering searching for tone giveaway guitars. Let someone else have a chance. 3 guitars and a pedal and a mic I gave to Randy. I know, dude. The last giveaway that you won, I was it like my name come around, and it was like I think your name was above my name on the wheel. And it was so close, and I was like, I'm about to win this guitar. And then all of a sudden, it showed up you, and I was like, I'm not a big SG guy when it comes to Gibson. I've never been that much on those guitars. But at the same time, I was like, I can't believe this. I'm going to win a guitar. And then it popped on your name, and I was like, holy crap, he just said something in the comments about that. Yeah, and I know they do. There is a guy at one time. I just never did. I don't know. Maybe it's just I hadn't played it enough. But a friend of mine at one time, he got into wanting to play guitar, and at this time in my life, I was doing just Facebook Live. It was before they would kick you off of the live if you played a copyright song. Back when you could play all the copyright songs you wanted and they didn't care, you know. But there was a guy that stepped in and watched one of my videos, and he was like, I want to learn to play guitar. And I was like, I told him, because I knew where he lived. I knew he was close by, and I told him, I said, dude, you get a guitar, I'll help you learn, you know. Because at that time I was teaching kids how to play. Beginner and intermediate guitar lessons. And so anyway, I told him, I said, yeah, do that. Well, he calls me about 2 weeks later, and he says, hey, man, you come over to the house? And I was like, well, yeah, sure, I'll come over. So I ended up going over there, and when I got over there, he had this SG robot guitar. You remember those? The robot guitars that had the tuners that would tune themselves and everything? Those guitars. And I was like, dude, show me a G chord. And he was like, I said, you don't know what a G chord is? And he said, no, that's why I wanted you to come over here to teach me how to play this guitar. I said, you spent nearly $2,000 on a Gibson robot guitar, and you don't even know what a G chord is. And he said, well, yeah, I wanted a good guitar. And I was like, well, you know, it's a win-win for me because I hadn't got a chance to try out the robot guitars yet. So I got that thing together, got it up there, and got it in my lap, and I pulled the thing, turned it to E, hit a button, and then all I did was strum, and all the tuning keys started turning themselves. And my first thought was, wonder what happens if that low E tuner breaks, starts a wind, and can't stop. And the first thing I thought was, this headstock's a goner. It's just going to break, you know. But it did very well. I played it for him and everything. But my problem with SGs is where the bridge is, how much room there is behind the bridge to the body, the end of the body. And I kept, like, I was used to playing Ibanez, other guitars, you know, that did, you know, and I kept trying to go back here to strum, and I was having to go up here because I was hitting on the bridge instead of ahead of it, you know. So that was my only problem with SGs. Now, sound wise, money. That guitar was, I think at the time, I can't remember what amp I had, but I took the amp over there. I think it was a Line 6 Spider 4. That was my little travel amp at the time. It was a 75 watt. And I took it over there and had my little short board and stuff, and I played it, and the whole time he's just like, man, I want to play like that. And I give him his first lesson. 2 weeks later, he took a job on the road driving a truck, and I've not seen him since. So I don't know if he ever kept learning or what the deal is. Yeah. Open G tuning. I hit all the G chords. Yeah, well, the thing about it was, Mars, is I was setting with it, and the way, like, usually when I'm setting with the guitar, and it would have really messed with me if I'd had it, I put the guitar like this, and just where, you know, that way I don't have to worry about my little wireless system here or a cord getting tangled up, and just drops right down between the knees. And then I play like this. That's a comfortable position for me to play. Now, when I play acoustic, sometimes I'll set it over here, and then I'll play like this. Well, I was playing his guitar like this, and I kept trying to go back here because I'm used to, you know, and his bridge was like way up. He had a whole lot of body between his bridge and the bottom of the guitar, and I just couldn't. But it took me about 10-15 minutes. I finally got adjusted to it. Great action. The neck felt great. You know, that was the only hang up that I had, and I was just iffy with those robot tuners. It was a good idea. It was a great concept, but I don't know if you guys watch Music Is When. Tyler is a guy, he lives here in Tennessee, as a matter of fact, somewhere around Nashville. He's got a YouTube channel where he checked out one of those robot tuners and done a test with the low E, and it cracked his headstock right where it meets, right where it comes into the neck. It cracked that headstock. And I was like, yeah, I was kind of wondering if sooner or later something like that would happen. So, I think that if I had an SG, that just regular tuners would be fine. The whole robot tuner thing, I mean, the concept, the idea of it is pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm just kind of off put by it, you know. I see a lot of things that can go wrong mechanically. No coffee today. I got tea. I finished my coffee earlier. I think I did. I'm not sure. Yeah, I did. Finished it while I was shooting a video. I do the coffee time now. I mean, y'all usually see the cup that says coffee time that comes up. I do a coffee time now that has this picture on it, and it plays that jazz elevator music, you know. And let's see if I can find it here. Let's see this. Let's see, image file. And where is it? Where is it? Da, 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 da. I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, here it comes. Let's see. There it is. Upload. Used to be this. That used to show up during the intermissions when I would go from the front of the camera to the bench, you know, stuff like that. And I've changed it to this. I changed it to that, and so it's kind of goofy, but you know, they're my videos, so what are you going to do? And let's see, where was it at? There was another one I wanted to show. Let's see. Oh, I've got this video coming up too. This video is, it's of course it's a few weeks out, but that's that 8-way switch that I built to change the voicing of a split humbucker. That thing is insane. And the thing about it is I'm going to end up changing a couple of those. I think that I'm going to do, I don't know, because it goes from 4.7 to 10, and then to 50, and then 100, then 220, and then 330, I think. And then there's a neutral that's just regular voicing on the pickup. But that was an interesting project. But it works, and it works well. I mean, it's insane. I put that in Lieutenant Dan too. I made the comment in the video that if I kept it up, Lieutenant Dan would have legs after all, if I kept modding him. I have a friend that has an LP with the robot tuners, and now he knows nothing about tuning by ear. Yep. That's another reason right there. You know, when I first started teaching my son how to play guitar, he wanted me to kind of show him everything. I want to learn this song. I want to learn this song. I want to learn this song. You know, and where do you go to find music for them? Where do you do? I was like, learn it by ear. You know, and he was like, well, how do I do that? And I was like, son, all you got to do is find the song that you like. When the song opens up and you know your guitar's in tune, hit the note on the song, pause, find that note on the guitar. I said, I can help you find the chords, stuff like that, but learn by ear, because of one reason and one reason only. One of these days, you're going to be driving down the road and a cool song's going to come on the radio. And when you learn music by ear, you're going to be able to pick out the notes just by listening to it. It's like reading music with your ears. And so he's done that. He's learned a few songs by ear and does really well with it. But he's starting now. I can't get him to focus on. I can't get him to focus on reading music. He's ADHD though. That's how he is. So, uh, yeah, Mars, that was an interesting little experiment that I got myself into. I ended up buying a kit of nanofarad capacitors, and in this kit, you can get these on Amazon, next to nothing. And I sent some of these to you, Chris, by the way. Uh, I'm still not, I mean, I'm learning a lot about different capacitors and what they do and how they, how they affect tone and stuff like that. But I've never worked with nanofarad capacitors. And nanofarad capacitors, here I've got 100-volt and 250 volts, and I've got everything from a 1 nanofarad all the way up to a 680 nanofarad, and I've got one UF in there, and it's just a whole kit. It was 300 pieces in there, and I think I give like maybe $15 for that. And I had this idea in my head. I don't know. I'll ask the question. You guys ever split a humbucker? And when you split that humbucker, as soon as you split it, you get two things most of the time. Now, I do have Safu Invader clones. I can split those, and they don't do the second thing. But first thing that happens is you get your 60 cycle hum, because you're canceling out the humbucker and going to a single coil. So you get that 60 cycle hum. No big deal. I mean, we dealt with it for decades with Fenders and stuff like that. So that's really not a big deal. The second thing you get is loss of tone. And that is a loss of, it just sounds flat, thin, and brittle. That's what it sounds like. So I got to thinking, there has got to be a way to do that and give it more body, which most of the time you would take the legs of, okay, let me explain this. Let me explain this the best way I know how here. If I can get this to reach. There we go. All right, now like and subscribe, by the way. So on most of your coil splits, you have a top, and you got your 3 legs up here. And then you got this knob that comes up to whatever knob you got above the guitar. And then down here, you have 6 lugs. Now, when splitting a pickup, I don't know if you guys can really see this real good. I'll tell you what, let me go back. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Now, on 4-wire pickups, you bring your, like a red and white wire, you bring it in right here. They're usually soldered together. And you bring it in right here, and that's how you split it. If you got 2 humbuckers and you split them, you can just bring this one over here to the other side to your neck pickup. And then when you pull that knob, it grounds these out, and when it grounds these out, it causes that pickup to be split. So what I did was, instead of running a orange drop across this ground right here and then coming up to the lug and around to the body to get that tone out of that one capacitor, I come off of this to an 8-way switch, and it has a center lug, and that goes to the center lug, and then you had 8 legs going around it like this. And then basically what I did is I put one leg of the capacitor in a leg, and then the other leg I would come up and attach all the legs together. Every single one of them was attached together, and then that would go out to a ground on the body. So when you do that and you turn that, what happens is it goes from one capacitor to the next, and it changes the voicing of that pickup whenever you do that. I had originally planned on doing it to this Spear Telly, but I entered in a search engine, how can I get a split humbucker to have full body sound? So immediately Google points me to a channel, to a guy that's already done it. And he didn't really show how to do it in that video, but you could download this. The guy's name is Waylon McPherson, and that is a diagram of how that 8-way switch works. And so what I ended up doing was recreating this. I downloaded this and recreated it with those nanofarad capacitors, and it works. I'll just tell you. Hey, John Bond's in here. Welcome. But yeah, I've got a Fesley FLP 400, and it's been kind of my guinea pig guitar, and it has been for quite some time. And so I ended up installing it into that. And when I installed it into that, I was just I messed around with it, and I still want to do something that Waylon didn't do, and that's I want to add resistors to the mix to see how that's going to affect the tone on a few of those capacitors in there. But when I split the humbuckers on that guitar now, I can turn that knob and get different voicings for that humbucker, and it's insane. It's weird. And that's the whole basis behind my channel, is learning. And kind of like Ted says, you're just following me on an adventure. And that's something I'd never did before, and I wanted to do it. And when I did it, I was thoroughly impressed with it. Is that rotary switch like the one that comes with the EB bases? That I'm not sure of. I do not know on that. I just went to, and I will tell you, to make sure and get a long shaft, if you ever try something like that, get a long shaft switch like that, because that had very short. I had to do a lot of sanding and eating out for it to come through the body on that guitar there. You know what? I've talked about it until I'll just demo it so you guys can hear it. It's pretty impressive. I can't believe I did it and it actually worked. That's kind of where I'm at. Let me step around here and grab this guitar real quick. I hurt my back a few days ago, and I'm stiff as a board. Finally starting to get over it. But this is it. This is Lieutenant Dan. He ain't got no legs. And that's the switch. This has a push-pull in it for these Safu Invader clone pickups. and it's got a push-pull in it, and this is the 8-way switch right here. I've had scratched a little notch in it. For that notch points at the bridge. That's a neutral position. Pretty impressive though, I'll say that. I'll run some clean tones so you can hear it. I was impressed that it worked on the first try of soldering everything together, and I did do some experimenting while I had it in there. Okay. Okay, now these are Invader clones, so they don't sound all that bad when you split them. See, they're not too bad. But if you turn this knob, that's the 4.7 nanofarad. That's the 10. It goes around like that. Let's see, this is neutral. I think that's the 330. That's the 100. And then when of course, you go back to full humbucker, the 8-way switch doesn't work anymore. Because I wired it up to where it would only affect the tone of the guitar when it was split. When it's full humbucker, I just have a 022 orange drop on it. But yeah, split that, turn. Tone knob works on every single one. So yeah, pretty cool little mod that I done to it. Will I ever use it like, religiously or something? No. I mean, it was just a learning thing, and I put it in there, but it allows me to find different voicings when I want to do something different. And this guitar is just this guitar is a metal machine. I'll just say it. Get that out of the way right up front, because see if I can find, there it is. Those pickups are cranking about 15 to 16K on the bridge, usually right around 9 on the neck. Yeah, usually right around 9 on the neck. And $100 guitar. And that thing is a good, comfortable neck. Just a great guitar. And I named it Lieutenant Dan. I give him an ammo belt. It weighs more than the guitar does. Yeah. It is a lot of variation. And, you know, truth be known, I didn't really want to do it because the biggest problem that I have with flat, thin sounding split pickups is hot rails. Those dual rails that you can get in single coil size. I've got a PV rafter over here, and I want to put one in it because when you split that little hot rail, it sounds horrible. But I've got another hot rail that I got from Geiker that you split it and it sounds pretty good. So let's see. I don't even know what this thing is. I think it's in D. Let's see. No, it's in C sharp. Yeah, I usually keep this in D, but I've got it in C sharp. And no, it's a Faisley. Yeah, Chris, I think that you'll. I'm kind of addicted to it. With them capacitors, having to mess with them. Let's see here. But yeah, it's a Faisley FLP 400. They make an FLP 350, I think, that's got the American flag on it, but the American flag's upside down. And I think they make a black one too, if I ain't mistaken. But the 400 was the camo. But now there's really, a buddy of mine in Boston, Justin, he got one, and he ended up getting the American flag one, and his was a 350. But besides the print that was on it, there was no difference. It was exactly the same. Both guitars, same scale length, same tuners, same everything. Those, actually, the pickups that come out of that, Chris, is the ones that I sent to you before I put those Invader clones in there. And so it's been, Lieutenant Dan has been kind of a guinea pig ever since I've had him. He's been in several videos where I've done odds and ends stuff to him, and it's just like every time he gets better and better. So great
guitar. And he has been in videos though where the humidity dropped to about 18%, and I had to do a whole fret leveling job on it to get everything right again. I love black and gold, man. Richie back there, the EC256 black and gold. Yeah, and those are Mars. Those are $20. You can buy those for $20 off Amazon. Just type in Sapphue, S-A-P-H-U-E, pickups, Invader clones, or just Sapphue Invaders, and those will pop up. I think the last time I bought a set, they were $17.99, and they have like 10 or 15 different colors that you can get. I started to go with the green on that guitar, but I stayed with the black because it had black hardware on it. And but I thought the green would look good with the camo, but I just stayed with the black. I have another, yeah, and I have another guitar back here, the old Purple People Eater, that's got white Invader clones on it. But yeah, if I change out, if I do budget, any kind of budget guitars, anything like that, then I just wind up putting Invader clones in them. And I've got guitars in here. Well, actually, the PV Raptor, I put Invader clone single coils in that guitar, and it sounds pretty good. But I put a Sapphue dual rail in it, and that's the one that, it sounds good when the whole thing's running, but when you split it, it leaves something to be desired. So I'm going to have to work on that and get that where it sounds good when you split it. I've got it to where it'll split in the 5-way switch. It doesn't have a push-pull knob, just in the 5-way switch. I got wired up where it splits with that, and it just doesn't sound good at all. So I don't know. The Fleor Crunch Bars. I have to look into those. Black, white, and blue. Yeah. I don't know if you've hooked any of those up, Timmy, but those are amazing pickups. And I just found them purely by accident. Because when I first looked at them, I was like, are those Invaders? And yeah. I was like, are those Invaders? Man. For 17, and then I looked and seen the brand name Sapphue, and I was like, what is the difference? And so I ended up ordering them. I mean, for no more than what they costed. I was like, well, at least it'll be a review video. And I was totally blown away. I just couldn't believe it. They were great. So I ended up, you know, just right then and there, I just started telling everybody, look, if you're going to put humbuckers in, then go with those. You're not going to be out a lot of money, and you're going to sound really good with them. I almost used the black ones on the last build. I used some of this the other day on that white Strat, Chris. It's just McGuire's cleaner wax. That white Strat where I true oiled the neck and the fretboard. I put that on top of there. That is some really good stuff. It was just an impulse buy when I was at looking through the auto parts and stuff, and I seen that, and I was like, I wonder how that do on that, because I never got the true oil wax stuff that you can get, so I wanted something to kind of go over the top of it, really bring the shine out. That stuff done great. And that's the thing, Timmy, that now mine have all been 15 or above, and some of them have been 15, like 15.1. Some of them have been 15.9, right at 16. A lot of it matters. The electronics inside the guitar, it matters, and like you can test a pickup outside of a guitar, and it's like these Invader clones. I've tested them outside of a guitar, and they're like 16.1, and then put them in the guitar, wired them in, soldered them and everything, and then checked through the output jack to see what kind of resistance I was getting, and it dropped to like 15.3 or 15.2 or 4 or something like that, because all of your electronics kind of act like a resistor too, you know, it going through tone capacitors and your potentiometers and all that. There was a guy that brought over some 8-string guitar pickups that he wanted me to put in a 7-string guitar, which was very odd, but I did it anyway. I had to route out to get the pickups to fit, but the pickups he put in there were passive, and they were 25K and 25.5K. And when I got them put in there and got everything wired up, it was 24.1K. And it knocked them way back. It was still hot, but still. Yeah, that's it. You have then. Yeah, because this was, of course, you know, I'm a McGuire's fan. I love McGuire's wax. I got liquid wax, and I seen this, and I wanted to put it on that Fender Strat neck that I'd been doing after I true oiled it, and I got it all true oiled. And I especially wanted to put this on the fretboard, and to toughen it up and put a good shine on it. And I put it on there, and I let it dry. Like I walked away and let it dry, and come back and got a buffing wheel out for my drill and went over it, and that thing shines like a diamond now. It's really good stuff. I think that I want to keep some of that around at all times. Yeah, that's what I do. Now, I will recommend to customers when I work on guitars and they're talking about pickup changes, I'll tell them, you know, hey man, you put these Safu Invader clones in there, you're not going to be disappointed. Enameled copper winding wire, Duncan winds Invaders with. Somebody had told me after I had used those, I was talking to another musician about those pickups, and they had told me, or I can't remember, who it was that I was talking to now, but someone told me the only difference between the Invader clones by Safu and the actual Seymour Duncan Invaders was one of them had a brass backplate and one of them had a nickel backplate. But the sound was so minuscule but that you couldn't tell a difference. And if you were looking at a chart as like a resonant peak chart, you could probably tell which one is which and see the difference. But by the ear, you couldn't tell the difference. And I can't. I mean, of course, my ears are shot anyway. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I appreciate y'all coming in. You've helped me procrastinate long enough. So I'm just going to put off my editing until tomorrow and get all that done. And Mars, brother, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. I don't know what happened to the John Bond guy, but I appreciate him coming in too. Chris, Timmy, you guys are the best. Don't tell the rest of them I said that though. But I have procrastinated long enough. I'm going to have to get up and act like I'm doing something. You know, instead of sitting back here talking to my friends. But anyway, got to gear up for the next video I'm going to shoot once I get this one edited and everything. So, guys, I appreciate it. If you need anything and you got my number, just call me, okay? Yeah, and do exactly what Chris says here. Every time I do that, that little thumbs up button pops up on the screen. Watch this. Let's see. Later, guys.